Hi guys, thanks so much for clicking and welcome to my channel. It's Mark here. Today we're going to be continuing my top 5 Madonna series. So in my last video I looked at Madonna's top 5, it was 6 ballads, but today I'm going to be looking at what I'm calling betweeners, which lie somewhere between ballads and bangers. So they're not the kind of super chilled ballads that we looked at in the last video, and they're not the super high energy songs that will be in the bangers segment that will follow at some point in the future. So the betweeners are coming today. I have narrowed it down to 5, so I'd be really interested to know what your thoughts are on the 5 that I've selected. If you're enjoying my reaction videos, then please do subscribe and give me the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. But without further ado, let's get straight into it. And at number 5 on my list, we've got one that was commented on a number of times in my ballad reaction video in the comment section. But I class it as more of a betweener because it's not strictly a ballad in my view, and that is from Madonna's MDMA album, and at number 5 it's Masterpiece. I think that intro just grabs you, and then her vocal comes in. It's so beautiful in this song, and then this bit, the harmonisation, beautiful. I think this track really stood out on this album as well. I've not listened to all of it, I've only listened to a couple of songs, but the rest of it was quite heavy, I think, and not of this style. I think the way in which she sings the song has a real storytelling feel to it as well. There's a real narrative from start to finish that I really enjoy, and you know, it's all about that person that you put up on this pedestal that's this absolute masterpiece that can't be replicated. But even things like that look perfect may not be perfect in reality. I think it's just the fact that the melody of her vocals is just so beautiful. And then you've got this background which is really insistent and kind of drives the song through. I mean, that's the key lyric of the song, really. It might look perfect, but it can still fall apart. And I'm right by your side, like a thief in the night. Masterpiece. I have to say, actually, when this song came out, when this album came out, it completely passed me by, and I've only really listened to it in the last 6 months, but I still think it sounds so kind of current, or maybe not current, it sounds so classic that this song could still be released now and do really well, I think. Just the shimmering sound at the end with the lyrics stripped back. Okay, so that was number 5 on my list, Masterpiece. I mean, it is what it says it is. It is a masterpiece of a track. I only listened to it very, very recently for the first time, and straight away I was just immediately captured by it. It sounds so classic, so timeless, and I think it's really up there with some of her best songwriting. So that's why I've got it at number 5. Okay, at number 4, I've got a more modern track. This is from Rebel Heart, and it was definitely one of my standouts. I haven't seen it on many other people's kind of standout list, but there was something about it that really grabbed me straight away. I think it was the production right from the very, very beginning that kind of got me. It goes quite hard straight away in terms of the bass. So yeah, without further ado, at number 4, it's Inside Out, which I just love. I loved it when I first heard it, and I still love it now. So this is my number 4. I think it's how like bassy and gritty it sounds at the beginning. There's something about it that just really appeals to me sonically. There's a really forceful vocal that comes in from Madonna as well. Every doubt, every sin, yeah. I think it's this bit as well, where the piano kicks in and the bridge which really starts to build. It really reminds me of Rihanna's Diamonds, but that's a good thing. That's a great song, as this is as well. As I say, I think the production on this, from start to finish, is just absolutely immaculate. I don't know who produced it, but whoever they are, I want to hear more of what they've done. I think the funny thing is that this is obviously such a kind of intimate song, but compared to some of the songs on Rebel Heart, it looks very PG, I think. You can get a good little bop on as well. It's not a full dance, which is why it's not in the bangers bit, but you can get like a little groove onto it. And then we've got a bit of vocal modification going on here, but I don't mind it. Sometimes with Madonna, for me, it's a bit much, but here it really works, because then you get the purity of her voice coming back on the middle eight. And this is a really beautiful middle eight as well. Time to take off your mask. So let me love you, let me love you. Love you from the inside. The way in which she sings it is in kind of quite a sexual way, but obviously the undertone is wanting to love someone so intimately, you know every part of them. So it's more about the love side of things than the physical side of things. That's my listening of it. So actually it's a bit more of a love song than a kind of sex song thing. And then the production at the end on this bit as well, with the refrain, switches it up at the end of the song, keeps the listener's interest. Let me love you from the inside out. And I love how the kind of bass comes back in at the end of the song that was there at the beginning of the song. It kind of comes full circle. Let me love you from the inside out, yeah. Yeah, I just think Inside Out is a brilliant pop song. Lyrically, vocally, production-wise. Love, love, love it. Okay, I'm going to stop saying how much I love it now. We're going to go on to track number 3. So this is a track from her Ray of Light album. I had a couple of tracks from that album on my top ballads. For me, it really is her best album, her best body of work by far, and I absolutely love it from start to finish. So for number 3, we've got Nothing Really Matters. I really like how the song comes in. It's got a real kind of industrial, machiney, grating kind of sound that starts very quietly and just builds. It's a really nice introduction to the song. And then it's a kind of very haunting vocal from Madonna, in line with that was on Frozen. I think the thing I like about this song so much is the verse is so contemplative and restrained, and then it really builds, and then the chorus is so unexpected, and it's just got such a nice groove to it, and the intricacies with the production on the chorus are also super nice, just like those little kind of inflections of sound. I think the thing that I really like also about this song is that you can imagine her taking the melody and the vocal and laying it down in a completely different way, much more akin to The Power of Goodbye or Frozen, but she's taken that lyrical content, that melody, in a different direction with the song and turned it into a much more kind of up-tempo thing. I still wouldn't say that this is a kind of complete banger, it's a kind of bopper. Maybe that's what I should call the Betweeners, the bop section, maybe. I thought the little switch up there before that part of the song was really interesting as well, wasn't necessarily expected. And then you've got the kind of rising sound in the background as well with the production. Very kind of rich, growing sound, and I love this little breakdown bit. Some background vocals going on as well that are kind of adding to the overall sound. It's a very kind of full sound. And this is a great middle eight, really, really good. Really more ad-libs on top. I think it might be from like a choir or something. And then the industrial sounds are coming back in. And then you've got the fade out that goes with it, but so much is still going on in the song, and there's still so much kind of development within it kind of musically. Yeah, I find that one of those songs that's just super interesting, and listen to different bits of it every time I listen to it, and I find kind of slight nuances or intricacies with it that I haven't heard the first time, which I love to do as a listener. It gives you a kind of different take on a song when you listen to it that way. Okay, so at number 2 we've got another newer song. I do tend to be leaning towards some of her newer stuff rather than the kind of stuff right at the very beginning. I think I said in the last video that my preference tends to be vocal and production-wise to stuff around the kind of Ray of Light era rather than the kind of super early stuff, and some of her more modern stuff as well when it's not super overproduced in terms of the vocals. So this is a song that I think falls squarely within that, and I think is reminiscent of some of her kind of much earlier work. And I think there's actually a real connection between what I've got as number 1 and number 2. So number 2 is a much newer one and number 1 is a much older one. So let me know if you think that there's a connection between the two or not. But I think in terms of how she approached the song and sang the songs, I think there's a similarity between the two. Anyway, I'm going to stop rambling. At number 2 is Ghost Town from Rebel Heart. Oh, and it just gets you straight away, that sound. It's so kind of emoting, and then her voice just comes through so clear. And then that lower register, I love her deeper, rich lower register. I'll never leave your side. It's such a massive chorus. The beat goes so hard with it, and the melody is so good. I think, again, like lots of the lyrics in this song, along with other songs on Rebel Heart, are quite contemplative, like looking back at what has changed and, you know, going from point A to point B and what the journey is from those stages. Such a beautiful bridge to kind of take the song up and elevate it. And then the chorus just hits so hard again. I'll be on fire when the lights go down. And it's just so nice hearing her sing so well on a more modern song. I think on stuff like Hard Candy and MDMA, we didn't get to hear her voice in this way. Mad world. It's such a good middle eight, it just gets me every time. And I love this bit where it just strips it all back, and then you just get to hear her pure voice. So crisp and so distinctive. I think I'd love to see her do an acoustic version of this song. I'm not sure whether she has before or not, but that would be absolutely amazing to get to see her really sing to something like this. Would be great. Okay guys, so that was my number 2, Ghost Town. And then at number 1, we have, I mean, it had to be number 1. It couldn't be anything else other than this. So I'm guessing that this will also be number 1 on most of your lists as well for the Betweener track list. It's such an iconic song, and it's the kind of the classic song that I always go back to of hers. Vocal performance is amazing, lyrics amazing, the production amazing. And it's just so timeless. So it doesn't need any further introduction. At number 1 on my list is Like a Prayer. And it's just that moment as soon as you hear the background singers. It must have been such an insane experience when this song was recorded. Everyone in the room must have just felt it so powerfully, because it just is one of those songs that just really gets you there. It's the way in which they strip it back down to just her voice and the chorus, The background music is gone. The focus is on her emoting in this way. Beautiful harmonisation. I think it's one of those songs that's just the perfect combination between vocal delivery, melody, but it's also got such a great groove to it as well. I wonder whether she still enjoys singing this song because it played such a role within her overall career. But I wonder, it must be really difficult to sing a song like this with emotion, singing it hundreds of times later. And this bit as well, where it switches it up, becomes much more kind of like brooding again. After having been kind of like boppy, it then becomes kind of like a religious experience. And this switch up is really nice. You can just really imagine her just getting into it as she was recording it. It comes across just like that. I think, if I'm right, she performed this a couple of years ago at Eurovision with one of her newer songs from Madonna, I think. But I can't remember what the performance was like. I'll have to check that out again. Take me there. I didn't realise how long the full version of this was. So it's over like 5.5 minutes, I think. But you can totally see why, because you just get so into it. You just kind of like soak up the emotion from it. Okay guys, so that was my top 5 Madonna betweeners. I hope that you really enjoyed the list. I really enjoyed putting it together. She's got such a fantastic back catalogue, and kind of trying to work out what songs I vibe with the most. And you vibe with different songs in different ways. It's a really interesting process trying to pull together a list like this. So as I say, I've really enjoyed pulling it together. No doubt you guys will all have different top 5s. So please put them in the comment section below. I'd be really interested to read those and to see whether there are any tracks that I should have included that I've missed out. Also in the comments, in the next couple of weeks, I will be putting together my top 5 bangers. And so if you've got any suggestions for tracks that should go in that top 5, then please put them in the comments below as well, so I can give them a little listen before putting the track list together, so I can make sure that I don't miss anything. As I said before, if you're enjoying these videos, then please do subscribe and give me the thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. I'm really enjoying putting these together, and I hope that you're watching them as well. Other than that, that's everything from me on this video, so hope that you are all well, and I will see you on my next reaction video.